Hello everybody, Robert Marzullo here, and today I want to go over something real important and kind of easy to do is profile shots. Real important in comic book drawing and in getting a better feel for your character. If you notice on all the bio sheets, it's always the front, sometimes the back, and then the profile. And profiles are fun to practice and give you, I think, just a better feeling for what your character might look like. So let's go ahead and start off with the circle. The shape off the base of the circle like that. Nice big round head shape there. Base of the neck or base of the head to the neck. Okay, and there we've got our little base profile for the face. And then we'll do a girl's face first. Okay, so now anyways, notice that I did a curved line to the front of it. We'll do the top to the chin halfway. A little higher right there. Halfway is eyes, nose, mouth. Okay. So now real quick, little slope there to the brow, out to the nose. And you can see that little angle that's coming back. Actually, the mouth should roll downward from this side, so it should come down like this. Unless they got really pouty lips, it might be a little different, but there's that. Do little teeth, bottom lip, and the thing to keep in mind, this one might be a little bit more skewed, but a little rounded chin. Not too defined for a woman's face there. Then roll the jawline back up. Ears should generally be center to a little bit further back on the head. And always kind of tilted this way is the way I look at the ear. And then the other lines to remember are kind of this thing going on for most faces. And definitely for women's faces, it's a lot more prevalent. Okay, nose, and I made that brow too masculine, too pointed. Just want nice soft curves. That this is still our rough to kind of our construction line to get things going. That bottom lip's a little funky too. We'll fix that in the next layer. And then one thing that I noticed on another video is it made a lot of sense. Make sure you bring the eyes back a good distance. A lot of beginning artists put the eyes too close to the nose up here in the brow area. So make sure you bring that back. Have the eyebrow come in front of it. Then encompass it, creating this diamond-like shape like that. Give yourself some other construction lines where the cheekbone might be. And you can see this coming together relatively quick. Something like that. Yeah, that ear is funky. But again, this is the construction line, so you just kind of feel the form out. And let's see, give her some hair. And I think I've said this in other videos, always think of the hair as flowing ribbons. And you're not trying to draw every strand, more or less you're trying to draw flowing shapes. And then with your shading, you'll bring those out. And you'll pretty much add your small intricate lines last, and they're really more for the shading than trying to draw every strand of hair. So just try to practice that. Maybe just to make it real easy, we'll do a little ponytail, and same thing, big kind of spin, ribbon effect. You can kind of see it there as it's rotating, it's rolling around. And you'll see some guys that draw comics just get really crazy with this, just little flips of hair just all over the place, and I don't got that much patience, so probably won't get that far into that. But okay, so there's that. Thicken up the lines for the eyes, eyelashes. It's always good in comic drawing to draw those as a solid, like so. nose and that brow still bothering me. Oh, and just to let you know, in this particular uh, drawing, it's I'm doing this in Sketchbook and using a Wacom's Cintiq. And I like to, I think I'm gonna start putting that in the videos because I always seem to write it underneath, but nobody sees it, and they comment in the video and say, "Hey, what are you using?" I'm like, it's right there where the info is, but I'll just spew it as I'm, doing the sketches or whatever. I'll say what I'm using sometimes. That'll help out. Okay, that one is oogly, but that's the first layer. So let's go ahead and take that layer back down to here. Give it some finesse and see what kind of profile we got there. And I always zoom in when I do this portion, try to refine my lines a bit. And a lot of times we'll thin down the brush size depending on, basically how big the scene might be for what I'm trying to create it for. If this is for a comic book panel, then depending on the size of that panel, that'll be determined, that'll help me determine what size brush I might use to add the level of detail and the thick to thin lines. So, and always remember, like, your thicker lines are at the base, and it always kind of does this, like thick, thin, thick, thin, and all the way around the shape or whatever, and always thicker away from the light. Like say the light's hitting on the forehead here, you could take this line, thin it out, start thick here, thin it out, and then that kind of makes it look like light is hitting right here, bouncing off the forehead. So just little things like that. Line weight it's called. So and this is obviously real time because look how slow it is. Nobody could possibly draw this slow. I'm still kind of making the transition to digital though, so even though I feel in the past year I've gotten insanely better from what I could draw digitally, in my opinion. Take it as you will. But at first, I thought it'd be just simple to make the transition, and it was a little bit tricky. Well, first with the smaller tablets I had, and the fact that you have to look at the screen and draw on the tablet that you're sitting on your lap or whatever. That was tricky in itself with the hand-eye coordination. But after about, I'd say 6 months, I felt more comfortable with that. But then I noticed that I just couldn't emulate or recreate the speed that I could draw on paper. And I'm like, you know what? I gotta go out there and get a Cintiq and try that. And I've seen a few people use similar type tablets and stuff like that, and it just looked amazing. I think the first one I got the demo was at a comic book show and a comic convention, and it was amazing. It was kind of mind blowing, and I'm like, wow, I really gotta get one of those bad boys. But uh, the price is a little bit sticker shocked. It made me hold off longer than I'd like to have. But now that I've got one, I couldn't picture really going back. And I just, yeah, I would probably recommend it to anybody. But, to build yourself up, I didn't start off with this. I worked my way up. So don't think that you have to just run out and buy one. It's going to make you some great artist, because I've seen guys use basic tablets. When I say basic, I mean even all the way down to the Bamboo series, but like the Wacom Intuos 4 is probably the smallest I would go down to, because I think it gets down to 1024 levels of pressure sensitivity, um, and it's got the most responsiveness, or for the price, bang for the buck, whatever, that's going to allow you to feel like you're drawing in real time on paper. God, and I know that mouse is horrible. Just give me a sec here. So, because that's what you want. You don't want to sit here and be doing this, and then all of a sudden feel like is it me or is it the tablet? Is it the tool or is it the artist? You know, but you know, you got to remember, artists, and one of the things about artists that makes them what they are is overcoming the tool and, you know, still being able to produce something that's just, you know, beautiful, you know, or awesome or whatever somebody else can appreciate. That's what art is. I mean, you know, you just have to overcome your, um, I don't know. It's all about the way you envision it and how you put it down, and that's what art is. And when somebody else can appreciate that, that's what, you know, gives you the pride and joy of doing it. So, um, don't think so much about the tools you have at hand. Think about your hand itself or your mind and the ability to create, or something like that. Okay, and then now to try to elaborate on the hair here. So I'm just kind of overlapping waves and little flicks of hair and direction. More or less just direction. I'm not trying to draw each hair right now. I'm trying to get a basic overall shape of the hair. And then when I shade it, I'll bring that out further. Which I don't know if I'll get into that in this video because it takes me a while to shade hair. But I'll give you the idea and the concept. And you know, mainly this is more to draw the profile. So let me get back on talking about that instead of doing a demonstration on uh, Wacom's and Cintiqs and whatever new device comes out. They're even getting good where you can draw on the phones now. So it's all pretty much going that direction. I'm gonna be ticked because in a few years you'll probably be able to grab a phone that can do what I'm doing on this right now. Alright, so again, the rotation here. You know, and then when you do something like this, you would keep in mind that your light source, say if you wanted to really bring out this shape, that maybe the light, you know, I'll kind of do these quick lines like this a lot of times. So say I do this in the hair, right? And I'll do some quick lines like this, and then that tells me later on, as I'm going to refine this drawing, whether it be in new layers or one more in full shading or whatever, that obviously my light source is bouncing on the top of the hair here and there. So just little notes to yourself when you're building these drawings up. Alright, and let's see, that's pretty much a profile right there. You know, and I'd say the only thing to keep in mind, um, you know, obviously, you know, the line weight helps bring it out like this. And you can even add some of that line weight in the bigger clumps of the hair to really feel that out before you get in there and start doing your little shading like this. Let me see here. But, you know, mainly this shape here for the profile. That chin's probably just a little strong. That could probably be tucked back a little bit more. And yeah, so there's a quick profile. Now, let's see, let's do an opposite profile now. And we'll do the masculine profile, the manly super dude. So again, big circle. The drop down of the jaw here. The ear to the center. The neckline. The trapezius. I'll just kind of fill in some of the overall shape real quick. The more you can do with the initial sketch, the better. Gives you a better feel for how this is gonna come out, or where you're gonna go next with it. So there's my rough lines for this one. And again, kind of this call it, you know, like the Spider-Man face. Put that in there. Eyes, nose, mouth. Start with the brow. Shape of the nose. Mouth. And down to the chin. Again, the ear I kind of picture in this direction. And I'm just doing basic expression here, nothing too crazy or dramatic. And you know what, right there I made that mistake. See how right there that eye to me looks a little bit too close to the brow and the nose, so watch as I push that back, how it should look a little bit more realistic. The brow, again the diamond shape. One's nostril. Okay. On the mouth. And then start structuring the cheekbone back to here, kind of rounds out back there. Head shape, the side of the head. That. And again, this is more of the construction line stage, even though I've got a little bit more finished lines on the female's face. But what I'll do is give myself a little bit more to work with on this. And I tend to always add a little bit more shading, well actually a lot more shading, to the male faces in the comics. You can get away with it more. And less lines on the female's face, keep it more sensual. Just kind of chiseling away there, seeing what sticks. And drawing some scribbly here. And then I'll generally try to get rid of some of the construction lines so I can see what I'm doing a little better. Or you could leave them and just go to dropping the opacity in the layer and moving forward. Either way works. Sometimes that works better because it gives you, if you don't feel you know where the character's going yet, leave more lines, I guess, and sometimes those lines can give you clues into the next stage and really bring out the drawing. If you work well with sketches. If you don't, then get them out of your way if that kind of clears up your perspective. Okay, so there's that, and then I'd probably block in some light and dark in the hair or whatever, just like this for the next stage. Okay, and let's drop the opacity on him, even though it's going to take her down a notch for a second. Okay, add another layer, refine that a bit. And what's really nice too is when you drop the opacity in the one layer, sometimes is to make it a blue line. I actually prefer doing that, but for the speed of the video, it's already being somewhat drug out, so I'm just gonna do it this way to keep it a little bit shorter. And again, darker lines on the bottom. So nice thick line down here. And be sure to let me know what things you guys would like to see in the future. I just was kind of looking through my videos and I thought, oh, you know what? I don't have any on profiles, and honestly, profiles are pretty darn important when you're doing these character sketches. You gotta have a profile, and a lot of your talk scenes and your lighter scenes that are less action packed are gonna have more of this going on, so it's pretty important. Again, I think it gives you a better feel for what the character look like. You pretty much have to draw them in every angle to see, you know, if it's really going to be a good character or not, or if definitely if you're going to feel confident to draw the character over and over again. You can't just draw a few front angle shots and then call it good. You got to be able to draw the character from upward shots, downward angles. So you really got to take that same character and spin them around like they're in a 3D kind of setting. You see, I just used, oh, there's that ugly line there. I just used this layer to kind of refine it. I typically, and I've mentioned this before, but I'll say it one more time, I typically use 3, sometimes more, but mainly 3 is my magic number for layers to get to a refined pencil state. If I'm trying to speed through it, or if it's a smaller scene in the comic, then yeah, I'll get away with 2 and then go to inks. I never, unless it's a silhouette or something easy, a real far off shot, then I might do 1 in inks, but it's really rare. I'm just not that confident with my drawing style to be able to do that. Um, I constantly, well, I'm looking at this right now and seeing nothing but problems that I'd like to fix, but for the time frame and the speed, I want to let it fly. But that's one of the reasons why I use a few layers when I'm trying to push something out that I'm proud of. I gotta refine it a bit more. Ooh. So this one's almost coming to a close. Hopefully this helped you, and let me know if there's anything I can, again, do in the next videos that will help you. Be sure to check out the production of the Blackstone comic. Book 1 is done. It's going to print, and I'm thinking about releasing it digital. Um, so be sure to check out Blackstone Eternal. Currently, you pretty much have to see it on here and DeviantArt. Under DeviantArt, it's Ram Studios 1, or just type in Robert Marzullo. So try to stick with us on that, and watch the production. Let me know what you think of the character. I'm always open ears. So there it is. Now if we take the pan back a little bit right there, we'll take layer back up. And then we'll just scribble out some of the construction lines in him. But generally I would just give it a couple separate layers and then tone that one back. And there it is. I didn't get too much into lighting on this one, other than the darker lines at the base and a few little quick shadows like this, and maybe, a little shadow under the eye like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's profiles, in a nutshell. And if you got any questions on this, let me know. I know I didn't really explain a whole lot on how to build them. Um, I guess I'm taking into account that anybody that watches this one might be a little bit of an art type where they already got that base. So I'm just kind of showing the way that I sketch that out, and hopefully that gives you a better understanding. So take care, subscribe if you can, and keep drawing. See ya.